Back in 2015, in an interview, you were asked to give an advice to someone who's considering launching their own lodge project. Your response was, don't ever believe if I build it, they will come. Before you do anything, work out how you are going to find your guests and at what cost. That is the only hard part. Can you tell us how you did it?
This is a brutal truth we face when you do something in the middle of Africa, and it's unique. It's not opening a Ritz-Carlton or a Mandarin in a big city. This is just something brand new. And how do you compete with all the beautiful luxury adventure travel experiences across the world? You've got them in Australia, you've got them in Latin America, in Costa Rica, you've got them in Alaska, beautiful destination for wilderness travel. How do you get your voice to be heard? You know, Joan, I've realized there's no one silver bullet. Firstly, one perfect guest experience at a time, every day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. That's your best. You've got to get them in first, and that's where you've got to network through the travel trade. But once you've got that first guest in, you have to make sure they leave completely addicted to your brand, because they're the ones who are going to tell the story or going to go back to the travel agent who sent them and said it was wonderful. And that travel agent who's sitting in Ohio or in Shanghai or wherever gets the confidence, it is a good place. So it's hard. Websites, gorgeous websites, until they're optimized, they're just gorgeous online brochures. They're not meaningful in getting, on the search engine. So it's a long, slow slog. If you have the wherewithal, you engage with companies like yours and across the world, and you get them to tell your stories, because travel media is a very strong tool to get good coverage, to get guests in through the front door. But that all takes time. Our first guest at Angama on the 23rd of June 2015 was a gentleman called Nathan Lunn. Do you know Nathan, Joan? He was the editor-in-chief of Travel and Leisure in New York at that time. Oh. And he was our first guest, and he was coming to write a story. I've known him from my past life, and he was coming to write a story, but that was for the September issue. So, you've already got a lag from June till September. So there's no quick time. But certainly I would say media is very, we can't, our small business can't afford to advertise. It's just hopeless. Take a page in Condé Nast Traveler, that costs $60,000. It's hopeless. Mm-hmm. So find a PR company that completely understands your story. So, and there are many. I mean, I've been lucky to work with the same one in New York for 20 years now. He will never ask me, Nicky, what's on your cheese board? Because he knows I'm just going to shout at him. Cheese board's irrelevant to our. So find a PR agency who can do PR plus sales and marketing, who completely understands your brand. And most importantly, Joan, understands the logistics of how to get the guest there. Because it's not arriving in Dubai and jumping in an Uber and going, or taking an airport shuttle and a hotel shuttle and going to the hotel. No, there's a lot of pieces that have got to be put in place before the guests arrive. So important that whoever you are talking to, they understand those logistics. And I think travel shows used to be good. I'm not sure travel shows are going to be a thing in the future. I don't know. I personally don't think so. So it's hard. And I think important in our end of the business, our tourism bureaus in our company, our tourism, the national tourism bureaus, they don't understand top-end travel. Their job is to get the mass travel in, because that's where the jobs are, that's where the investment is. So respectful of that. So you've just got to keep telling your own story. 2 months before we started building, I said to Steve, I'm going to put out a weekly blog. Do you know? We still do, 6 years later. They actually put out a blog on a Tuesday and on a Friday, and we just tell the stories over and over again. And I think you don't know who's reading them. You don't know who's going to find them somewhere, but if you can hyperlink them to something else and work it that way. But just, as I said, just one guest at a time.
Yes.